Hello, everybody. We are going to be doing something a little bit different this time. I've never done a live edition of Canucks news you might have missed. So I thought, why not try to do it this one time and see if you guys actually enjoy this as well? Not just the usual setup where we have with an actual video. It's both are a lot of fun, or we're going to find out anyway with the live thing, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to actually have doing the news segment like we always do, but instead, I'm also going to be taking live comments from each and every one of you guys that are in here, and we can go and talk a little bit about the Vancouver Canucks and some of the things that are going on, because there is a lot of news and a lot of information that we can go out and share it. And we already have someone in here. Jude, man, what's going on, brother? Nice to have you in here. So this is how it's going to work. So before we get this started, I'm just going to say hello to each and every one of you guys. If you guys are watching this video either live, or if you guys are watching it, maybe you're watching it a little bit later, go ahead, drop a like, drop a subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. That would be, or by the end of the season. So that would be great. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Christy Speckle, I think it's the first time I've seen you in here, man. Nice to have you in here. I'm doing this at a different hour, and we've never done a live show before. So other than like post-game shows and stuff like that, I'm just trying something a little bit different. I thought it would be pretty fun. So why not? Need you on Spotify? Maybe one day I'll put all the podcasting stuff together. Right now, I'm not really a podcaster. Hey, Logix, hey, what's up, man? Nice to have you in here. Looking fresh. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, so let's kind of get into it right now, and feel free to be a part of this show. If you guys have any questions, leave a question in here, and you guys can be involved. So first of all, I'm going to let people know. So share this around to all your communities. I'm going to let people know that we are indeed live. So first, I'm going to go on Twitter. Hey, guys. We are live talking Canucks trades plus all the news that happened today. If you guys want to come hang out and talk hockey, come join us. It's a ton of fun. All right, put that in there, and I'll get this out for the people. Let me see if it worked. And also, I'm going to put this up right here live. All right, I think we are good to go. All right, let's rock and roll. So first off, we're going to be using Canucks news summaries mostly for the recaps. If you do not know who he is Corey, and he works for the Canucks Armory, and he is awesome. Really chill guy. Give him a follow, show him some love. It would be great if you guys jumped in here. All right. So, first off, this is from Aaron Portsline, okay? On Kiefer Sherwood, the Blue Jackets have spoken to the Canucks about acquiring him. The Bruins are a big fan of Sherwood. Currently, the Bruins' Sean Corelli is a longtime friend of Sherwood. Sherwood is going to be a major talking point from this news video, and it's just there's so much interesting values being thrown around. I know what I believe he's worth, and I'll kind of share that throughout this. But yeah, man, it's going to be very, very fascinating to see what goes on and what kind of sees and just in general, if they could actually get the proper value they're supposed to get. You know what I mean? I seen your match last stream about running duels in Arc. We can definitely run them soon. Yeah, man. I've been playing a little bit of Arc Raiders. It's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if you guys even know what that is, but it's kind of an extraction shooter game. It's a lot of fun, man. It's definitely something interesting. Hey, by the way, Bruins are very interested in Sherwood and Garland. Apparently, the Boston Bruins, and this is something. Okay, I guess the Bruins one's a little bit inaccurate. Vector did, Corey did fix it. So if you guys can take a look, though. So the picks are a little bit different, but basically this is what you have for young players and picks for specific teams. So right off the bat with the Boston Bruins, they do have a ton of draft picks, which is something that we would be interested in, right? Lysell would be an interesting name. You know, Minton's actually looked pretty good for Boston. I wouldn't mind him getting in a package there. You know, so Boston has a couple of decent names there, but they're not the big names that a lot of people talk about. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, They do have their first rounders, which is important. They have Cole Sillinger and Kent Johnson. Like, I think Columbus probably makes the most sense if it comes to making a trade, potentially. Because with Columbus Blue Jackets, they have the assets, right? The question is, would they want to go and give up a guy like Kent Johnson, for example, for a guy like Connor Garland? Garland's obviously overproducing him, but Kent Johnson has a huge ceiling, right? And Garland's also signed. Would you guys do something like that? Would you guys do a Kent Johnson for Garland, right? Cole Sillinger is another interesting name. Would they give up a guy like him for Sherwood? Like, there's some really interesting names there from Columbus. I think a package could potentially work there. It's something to be interested in for sure. The Detroit Red Wings, they have their draft picks. This is more of a Quinn Hughes destination more than anything, in my opinion. But they do have Marco Kasper, which is an interesting name. We actually made a couple of videos in the last 2 days going over some of the comparables and also going over some of the young players we like to target for the Vancouver Canucks. So you guys can definitely check that out. But they do have a couple interesting names there. Danielson, would they go out and trade him? I think if any trade happens with the Detroit Red Wings, we're definitely looking more in the Quinn Hughes direction than the, than Sherwood or Garland direction, personally. As for the Minnesota Wild, they have their draft picks. Holmgren is an interesting name. I think David Quadrelli was the first person who dropped that name as well. Really good young prospect as well. So someone you can keep an eye on for sure. Crispy says, it sucks that we all talk about a rebuild, which honestly is needed, but in reality hits once you realize your favorite trade will most likely be traded. Well, that's the thing, right? But at the end of the day, like, okay, what is the ultimate purpose of playing in the National Hockey League? What is the ultimate purpose of building an ownership, a management, and a team? It's to win the Stanley Cup and be good year after year and be competitive to win that cup. Like, that is the ultimate goal, is to win. That's it. So we got to do everything in our power to win. Is it a full-blown crash down rebuild? Some people say yes, this is what we need. Is it a potential retool where you move the chairs around? There's a lot of people, Buble is one of them, that says yes. Or is it just go with the flow and things will work out? That's not the best idea. But again, I don't want, kind of like you said, right? Exactly. This is Pro Store, no participation trophies. The whole point is to win the Stanley Cup. Now, ownership obviously wants to fill the seats. They make money. Money is really good, right? They want their cash. And ticket sales are decent still, even though, in my opinion, it's pretty astronomical. I think the ticket sales are just a bit wild right now. But, our ticket prices, sorry. Also with parking and everything. But they're still getting people to the arena. They won't really do anything until people stop showing up, more than anything, right? So with the Vancouver Canucks right now, the whole point is to win a Stanley Cup. That's the key. More than anything, it's to win a Stanley Cup. So they got to figure out whatever their plan is to win that cup. There are only winners and losers. We are so far on the loser side. It's sad as a fan base. Things can change really quickly, though, if they just have a plan and they stick to it. We've obviously had a ton of injuries this year. It's been a little complicated, but just something to look something at. All right, so Philadelphia Flyers is a very interesting name. We've been hearing him a lot, but I'm looking at that prospect pool. I'm not seeing much, like nothing crazy. I will say, like, there's a couple of decent names there, but I will say if we're doing any trade with Philadelphia, I almost feel like you need to get either Konechny back or you need to get freaking Michkov back. And the only way we're going to get those guys is for a guy like Quinn Hughes. I don't think it's possible to get either of those guys for Sherwood or Garland, if you want to be completely realistic. So if it's Philadelphia, we're looking at draft picks. All right. San Jose Sharks, right? Young, up-and-coming team. They have a ton of really good prospects. So another interesting name to look at. And they also have a ton of picks as well. So just something to look at. All right, so here is Rick Dhaliwal. Rick Dhaliwal here. Go support Rick. All right. Thatcher Demko is not on the road trip, but did skate over the weekend. This is on Don and Dolly, by the way, on check. Has not had a setback, which is good. Do we need Demko to be healthy if we're going to have any hope in hell of actually turning this season around or even potentially trading him, guys? Like, it's not crazy to think that they could be looking at trading Demko as well. I'm not sure about his no movement cause situation, so if you guys want to share that with me, again, we're doing this live, so it's a little bit different. Tolopilo flew back to Vancouver yesterday because his wife giving birth. Hopefully that goes great. Congratulations to the Tolopilo family there. Yuri Patera has been called up. Nils Hoglander, he's on the road trip, but isn't close, which is kind of crazy because it's been back and forth, right? It's been so back and forth right now with Hoglander. Like, every time I feel like he's ready, it's like, oh, just another week, another week, another week, another week, another week, another week. Eventually, like, I kind of don't even want to hear updates until we're at the point where he's gonna come back, right? Sherwood, here's the big stuff. All right, Bruins and the Wild are two of the teams in on him. One team told Dhaliwal that they love Sherwood's salary. Some teams like him, but they haven't called yet. Says the ask isn't outrageous, which is important. They're not asking for crazy. I'm guessing they're just asking for a first-round draft pick. One team told Dhaliwal that they didn't think the ask was too outrageous. A lot of teams have multiple first-round draft picks, and this is Elliott Friedman. A couple of people have told him that the Canucks have players that Rick Tocchet likes. Keep an eye on the Philadelphia Flyers for the Canucks players. Not talking about Hughes. Everybody obviously loves Hughes. Really interesting. No one doesn't click it until next season. Okay, so Demko is a possibility for a trade. Thank you for that, Crispy. I really appreciate that. So, ask you guys, what do you think about Sherwood? Where do you think his value lies? Me personally, I've said this in multiple videos. I believe one of two things have to happen. We get either 2 second-round draft picks or we get a first-round draft pick. If we get a first-rounder or 2 second-rounders, I am completely happy, satisfied, hope for the best for Sherwood. If he can't stay here, that's just the way business works. But we need to get a minimum of a first-round draft pick or 2 second-rounders for me to be satisfied. If it was a second and a third, I would be a little annoyed, but I think a first-rounder or 2 seconds would make the most sense for Sherwood. That's something we should be looking at personally, right? Garland's a whole nother story, by the way. Garland, it's like, first of all, do we want to trade him? Why do we want to trade him? Leadership guy, really talented guy. Why would we go out and trade the guy unless we're doing a full 100% crash down rebuild, you know? Crispy says, so I think with a rebuild or retool, we can get rid of all our leaders, and Sherwood is one of those guys we need to keep. His energy, his performance, one of the younger guys can look up to. Absolutely. He's a dog, man. He's an absolute dog. And we need guys like that. Garland's in the same boat. I agree. But with Sherwood, it's the age factor, right? Like, you have to understand the age factor is too different there. So if we're going to keep Sherwood around, like, you got to be able to at least use those guys in leadership roles and have spots for them that they can perform for their contracts, because Sherwood's going to cost at least $5 million plus, right? But you're right. These are huge leadership guys that could help that young group. You're absolutely correct. But again, the age factor, it's important, right? You mentioned that a lot of teams have multiple first-round draft picks, which is also really interesting. And we went over the picks and some of the players there. But yes, multiple teams have their first-round draft picks. The question is, will the Canucks grab them and then flip them? Or will the Canucks just kind of have them and keep them, actually make their selections? That's a whole nother story, right? Whole nother story. By the way, For all the new people in here, welcome. Nice to have you guys in here. Don't be a stranger. Drop a comment. Hit that subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the season. I know we could do it. We are a new Canucks community. We have videos on here all the time, and we do live streams as well. It's a very positive community, but we are honest as well. So be a part of this crew here. Hit that like, subscribe, be a part of us, guys. It'll be great to have you guys. The more the merrier, man. All right, so let's get to the next part. Oh, actually, did I miss the last part? Other Canucks trade chatter, getting a lot of calls on other veterans and not just pending UFAs. Wouldn't be surprised if the Flyers are looking for a defenseman. By the way, top fans so far this stream, Crispy with the 75 XP, Duo with the 75 XP. It's a battle. Your videos are awesome. Oh, man, that's awesome, man. That's really nice of you. I'll get to that in a sec, Duo. Getting a lot of calls on other veterans, not just pending UFAs. That's fascinating, right? They're not just getting calls on the vets. So the name that immediately comes to me is Hoglander. It's Hoglander. That's the name that, in my belief, is the name that I think teams would really want. And I don't think it's a smart idea for the Canucks to go out and trade him. But that's something teams are going to be targeting. Obviously, this could mean Quinn Hughes and all of them as well. I don't know what they're going to do with Quinn Hughes. The more this stories happen, the more I feel Quinn is leaving. And I'm going to make a video specifically talking about Quinn Hughes' values soon. We're going to get really into it, so look out for that. Yeah, I seen something today. Sherwood is looking for a minimum 5x5 or 5x6, so that puts him at around 36 near the end of that. So I can see why the Canucks trade him. Absolutely. Right? Duolingo, your videos are awesome and your takes are realistic. Thanks, man. I try to be, right? Like, of course I want hey, give me Crosby, for fucking Sherwood. Like, obviously, you got to be realistic when you're thinking about stuff, right? Right? And, just because I try to make a lot of positive takes as well, doesn't mean I can't be critical of this team. You guys seen some streams and videos. I'm critical. But I am an optimist, and I want to be an optimist, and I believe that, good vibes matter, not just in making videos and streams. I believe good vibes is something that I've always kind of preached, and I always want to preach, even in the tough times. I do. Thank you so much. I like a channel where the Canucks isn't delusional. Canucks fan? I don't know who you're talking about, man. There's some really good Canucks content creators out there that have joined us on this show many times. Calvin, W. Tolo, welcome to fatherhood. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, really happy for him and his family. Calvin, nice to have you in here. Welcome. Always a pleasure. Duolingo, I can tell you're a true Canucks fan that knows hockey and knows his club. I've been watching Canucks since I've been a sperm, man. I've been watching hockey, like, seriously, as a baby. I've lived and breathed the pain. I am very up to date in some of the old. I had a Jan Bulis jersey, I was there for the Brawbarian with Jeff Cowan. Like, trust me, I've been a fan for a long time, man. Bure, are you born into the club? How did you become a fan? I don't know, man. It's just, I loved hockey. I'm local. And I guess my parents were Canucks fans, and they kind of took me to a game, and the rest was kind of history for me. What's on the agenda? I've been looking at my sick child. Well, I hope your kid's going to be all right. We're just going over all the news in the Canucks news today. We're doing a live Canucks news you might have missed. Usually we do a video on it. I thought, why not get some of the community involved in the video as well? I've never done this before. We'll see how this goes and works. So far, it's been great. I've been enjoying it. So we're kind of go on and off of that. All right, so let's get to it. Elliott Friedman. A lot of people are curious about this. Vancouver Canucks, if you're interested in a Canuck, call them and discuss options. Originally thought there was a chance that Sherwood was getting traded before the end of the road trip. It is now less certain. A lot of interest in Sherwood. A lot of teams want to talk about him. Canucks want to know the market for all their guys. Are looking to drive up the price on Sherwood, not discussing Hughes, and not interested in trading Hronek. Well, that's, thank God, they're not interested in trading Hronek, because if Quinn is gone, you got to have Hronek, and he's been awesome this year. He's been so good, right? They're trying to drive up the price of Sherwood. First rounder or 2 seconds. That's the price. That should be the price. I would be super annoyed if they don't get at least one of those two things. Canucks want to know the market for all their guys. Yeah, well, I'm going to assume you should already know that, right? It's like a very important part of your job, right? And obviously, there's a lot of interest in Sherwood. A lot of teams want to talk about him. Yeah, man, because he shoots, he scores, he has hands, he hits, he's energetic, he can play the penalty kill. Like, fuck, every team in the league would want someone like that. Philadelphia Flyers has never said that the Flyers are interested in Garland, so that's interesting. A couple of people have told Friedman to watch them. They might be in a desire to do something. Rick Tocchet knows the Canucks players better than anyone else. Flyers are looking for centers, but don't count them out at all other positions. The thing about the Philadelphia Flyers is most of their players that we would want is on their roster. Would they go out and trade it? Prospects wise, let's go back to this. This is what they have. From this list, what do you guys think stands out here other than their draft picks? Right? Do I think a spanking by Colorado will speed up the potential trades? No, I don't think so. I always thought they were going to trade a couple of weeks before the deadline. I still think that's going to be the case. I think the Colorado game is going to send Hughes over the top. It's possible, but I don't know. Sherwood needs to stay. He's not a problem. He's definitely not the problem. No. That's not why he's in the news. He's in the news because he's a older UFA, and if he's not going to stay here, you got to get value for him. Canucks GM always trade people. We are not the problem. Need to only trade problem guys. It's just an interesting way of looking at it. Van, nice having you here. And make good trades as they get someone better. Yeah, it's a very interesting way of looking at it, honestly. The thing is, it sounds simple. Like, you're like, simple to me, right? It sounds simple, but you gotta be thinking proactive as well. Van Island, Beauty. So if we don't know everything, right? We only know what we hear and what people speculate and what the media tells us. We don't really know what's going on with the agents talking, general managers talking. Like, who knows? Maybe Sherwood already said to frickin' Alvin and Rutherford, hey, man, you know what? I'm probably not going to stay here unless you pay me fucking $6 million. Like, who knows? We have no idea. So you got to look at contingency plans, and they're looking at that. And also with his age, do you want to sign a guy for that long? Me personally, I would still think about signing him at that $5 million number. I think that's fair. True? Thanks. All right, let's get back to it. All right, where are we? Rick Tocchet knows the Canucks players better than anyone else. Flyers are looking for centers and don't count them out at other positions. On Connor Garland, Dhaliwal heard over the weekend that a lot of teams love him. Yes, every team should love him. Interest just as high for him as Sherwood. That's interesting. His cap number looks better as the cap goes up. Agreed. Even though he is signed to an extension, he is still competing very hard. Very true. Really don't want to trade him. Prefer to keep him. Canucks looking to see if someone else is going to force them into making a decision. So they're waiting for the best offer, and they're only going to trade Garland if they get that offer, basically is what he's saying. The fact is he's not a center, so will a team really go out and overpay for a guy like Garland? I do wonder. I would probably say they won't. Nothing to do with Garland and his abilities or anything like that. I feel like this Canucks organization eventually caves a lot of times with trade values. Like, we don't always seem to get the best value for trades, right? So that's just something to mention there. Now, before we get to the second part with Elliott Friedman, for all the people in here, thank you so much for joining us. Just a quick word from our sponsor. Hello, are you guys fans of Jacob Doodle? Are you guys fans of the Vancouver Canucks? Hit that like and subscribe button and join us. All right. That's the best I can do there. Also, if you guys want to be members, see those green font that people have? These are members. Feel free to super chat or become members. You can help buy me some coffee in the morning. It would be great. Again, completely optional. All right, let's get to the next part. Quinn Hughes. Difference between how concerned the Canucks were about how miserable he appeared in post-game interviews, being upset. All right. What do we got here? Was chasing a story that Hughes already made his decision and had to convey that the Canucks and Friedman got big pushback on that from multiple people. It's interesting. So there were reports saying that Hughes, I guess, pushed back, right, on the notion that he is absolutely gone. But, like, of course, like, no, you can't say he's going to be, like, only he really knows. The thing is, what happens if we're at the deadline and Quinn says, you know what, I'm not sure? What happens in that scenario? What happens if Quinn just says, I'm not sure, I don't know? What do we do? Do we wait, hold him till the offseason and definitely trade him or get him signed? Do we gamble that? Or do we still trade him for full value at this deadline? I have noticed Quinn's body language, but I don't want to read too much into it. But he does seem to be a little bit more annoyed recently. I think it's pretty fair to say. A Colorado Avalanche gamble or Landeskog is one that checks Nathan Kinn's intense personality and tells him to back off. That's interesting. Right? I don't think we are trading anyone. If other teams were smart, they would wait until free agency. That would be a smart thing. The thing is, though, there's always a team that would want to upgrade and become better to win the cup, right? That's why I would be stunned. If we don't sign Sherwood by the deadline, he's traded. I would be stunned if he's not traded. Now, as for Garland and all those other guys, I can see them staying. Any of the RFA guys or guys that are signed, I can see them staying past this year. But I think the UFAs, I think they're gone, personally, unless they sign an extension, right? Look at what Carlson got. If Hughes doesn't sign, get 4 to 6 premium pieces, we're doomed. He won't. He won't get 4 to 6 premium pieces because the whole thing is you only are getting him guaranteed for 2 years unless it's maybe Philadelphia where it's very close and maybe he'll stay there because everybody knows that there's a good chance that in 2 years he's going to the New Jersey Devils with his brothers. But if he decides to go to, say, someone like Detroit or Philly, that could change things. But if he's going to a team like Columbus, like he's probably not staying there after 2 years. It does affect the value. That's why I think 2 premium pieces. I want a top prospect and a good young roster player for Quinn Hughes at bare minimum. So, I mean, at bare minimum, if we're looking at a deal, I want someone like, let's see. If it's Philadelphia, I'm not saying they're going to do it. If it's Philadelphia, I want Michkov, right? And maybe a first or second rounder, or maybe a first and second rounder, right? But minimum, I want that type of prospect / player in a trade for Quinn Hughes at bare minimum. If you don't get a guy like that, at least for Quinn, even if it's just for the 2 years, I would think of thing. Now, asking wise, I think you start high. You go for 2 top prospects and a roster player, or maybe a top prospect and a roster player. But you are definitely looking at, and ideally, you look for someone who has a young center. We need a center. Like, we badly are desperate for centers. But how are we going to find them? Well, that's probably the best way. Keep Quinn? Yeah, it's possible, but the question is, if he's not going to sign here, you got to trade him. You cannot lose a guy like that for nothing. Like Toronto didn't trade Marner before that no movement clause kicked in. Now, obviously, Quinn's different. He doesn't have the no movement clause. But look, they didn't trade Marner before that no movement clause kicked in, and they kicked themselves. and they lost Marner for nothing. Marner would have gotten a haul. You can't let them. Look at the Flames. They got premium assets. At the time, that Huberdeau Weegar trade was fucking crazy. If you really think about it, that Huberdeau Weegar trade was insane. Like, Huberdeau was coming off 100+ points, right? So, like, and that's a guy, but the difference is Tkachuk was going to most likely, that was a sign and trade if I'm not mistaken. You got Tkachuk for 8 years. You're not guaranteed to get Hughes for that long. By the way, we have over 15, almost 18 people in here already. Unbelievable. Thank you guys for joining us. Be a part of this community. Drop us up. I'd appreciate it. Funny thing, Dougal, I wanted to trade Quinn for Gabriel. Oh, God. I think he's getting too old, man. Huge injury problems. Great leader, though. I demand 2 top prospects and a first. There you go. If he wants to go, trade him ASAP. Fair enough. Don't keep anyone who doesn't want to be here. Fair enough. All right, next up, we have Darren Drager. Vancouver Canucks. The memo, and by the way, I didn't stream this live on Twitter. Usually I do both YouTube and Twitter, but I wanted to just see how many people we can get here doing this live news video with the Canucks just on YouTube. It's been a huge success. Thank you guys for joining us and leaving comments and being a part of the show. Maybe next time I'll add Twitter as well. Why not? Vancouver Canucks, the memo. Okay, here we go. So this is Drager. The memo encouraged conversations and discussions. Wouldn't describe any one team that is ready to make a trade right now. At the moment, Sherwood is the most attractive player the Canucks have on the block. Too soon to say what the return for Sherwood would be. Calls in the upper echelon of pending UFAs. Absolutely. Because he doesn't just score, he hits. PK, leadership, energy. Says the usual package for someone like Sherwood would be a first-round pick and a prospect or young NHL player. So there you go, right? 6 p.m. here. If the Canucks are trading Sherwood this early in the season, it's going to be a piece or pieces that would help them on the ice now. That you got to have a plan. It cannot just be a middle-end type 28, 29-year-old project. Right? It needs to be a young center, a young winger like Kent Johnson or something in that way. I don't know if it's possible to get a guy like Sherwood for Johnson or Johnson for Sherwood, but probably it would cost Garland, to be honest, but in a package. But still, wonders if there's a trade that could be made between the Canadiens and the Canucks. That's an interesting name. Did we have the Canadiens on that list? Let me see here. No. If you're in here, Canucks News Summaries, you might actually be in here. If someone could tell me what kind of prospects and picks the Montreal Canadiens have, that would be great. If you guys can put that in chat, by the way. What do we got here? Would be surprised that the Sharks haven't reached out. Another really good team or a good prospect pool potential. And Flyers want to see more from the players they have. Interesting. All right, here we go. I don't think people were expecting. I made 2 videos in the last couple days. Check them out. I always do news videos all the time. I can't see it. It's too small, man. This is an awesome show. Fantastic info. By far the most informative channel in the community. You're doing an insane job. Hey, man, that's really nice of you. I really appreciate it. Honestly, I don't do this alone. I get a lot of help. Like the Canucks News Summaries, doing these recaps just makes things so much more organized. And the fact that he's a friend of mine and we do content together on this channel definitely is amazing. And I'm very thankful for him and other people collaborating with me from time to time, like Clay, Kempner. You know, I'm very blessed to have a lot of support from this community. Also, a lot of the media guys, like I'm having great conversations with a ton of media people, even doing videos for the PWHL, Izzy, you know, and Irvin there, and also, you know, talking to guys like Drancer and having David Quadrelli on the show. Like, man, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. And if you think about it, I started 3.5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. This is as fresh of a channel as it can possibly be. And we already have over 600 subscribers. And these are all like active subs that we just gained right like in the last 4 months. So I'm very thankful for you guys. I really appreciate it. People that donate and super chat, people that comment, become members, gifting members, like all you guys, I really appreciate it. So thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Also, it's 5. People are just getting off work. Good point. Blue Angel world record. I don't know what that means. 6 p.m. here. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock where I live right now in Vancouver. Well, in the outskirts anyway. I think I can't afford actually Vancouver. I think a 25-year-old center would be good. Yeah, that's okay. It's not 29 plus. Maybe a middle six guy like Zaka. I think that Zaka train is gone. I think it's gonzo. Too bad Maverick Burke wasn't available. Pretty sure he's on my list. He is on my list of 10 players that we should target. If you haven't watched the video yet, Calvin, after this stream, go take a look at it. I made a video today talking about yesterday the comparables, and today we went over 10 specific players the Canucks could target. So you can check that out as well. Habs have all their picks other than a 5th in the next 3 years and have an extra 2nd, 4th, and 7th. So there you have it. So it is a possibility for the Vancouver Canucks to go out and actually trade with the Montreal Canadiens. Wouldn't be such a bad idea. Super fresh and only up from here. Thanks, Duo, man. And you've been an OG from the very beginning, man. Very much appreciated. And you know what? I will be looking for moderators here pretty soon. When I do start that, people can put their applications and see if, or not applications, but I'll basically pick people who I believe I can trust to become moderators. So if you guys are interested in that in the future, let me know. But that's not yet. I don't think we need that yet. We've only had 1 troll so far since I started streaming. What's their picks worth? Our first is worth 63.8% last time I checked. I'll go check it out after the stream. Awesome, man. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, where were we on the news here? Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, here we go. Quinn Hughes. If they are not a playoff contender, have to be open to having the conversation with Hughes about his future. Most people believe that Hughes will eventually go to Dallas or go to Devils. Are the Devils willing to rip their roster apart to acquire him now? I don't think they'd have to rip their roster apart. I think that's a little fucking crazy, to be honest. Drake's maybe a little harsh, but like they would have to give some significant pieces to get Quinn. But they're also getting Quinn Hughes, right? They're also getting Quinn, right? Yeah, exactly. All 17 top, and they're all like really nice people too. Yeah, we have 20 people, so there's at least 5 to 10 lurkers in here who are sneakily just listening, which is perfectly fine too. Just let's hope they just subscribe and they hang out here in the future and drop like as well. All right. And then this is Elliotte there on that last point there with the Philadelphia Flyers are interested. So guys, that's the news, guys. That's the news of the day. What do you think? I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It was a ton of fun, and it was a huge success. Thank you so much for joining us. Go take a look at the 2 videos I made. We made a couple. I hope you guys enjoy them. Leave comments on those. It definitely helps. And hype them as well. That's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype them. That'll be great. It couldn't be me. Thanks, Duo. So I hope you guys have an awesome evening. And I'm going to go watch some wrestling now, right? Take care, guys. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. See you guys next stream. See you guys next video. I really need a catchphrase. And Reckless comes here at the end, right at the end after typing all that. I can't leave on that. Let me ask let me see what he says. What is the value on a player like Hischier compared to Hughes? Do you think we can get someone to get him? I think it would be tough to get Nico in a package personally. I don't think they'll trade him. Even if it's for Quinn Hughes. Canucks can ask. I think you're looking at a much like different style of package with Nemec and you know, maybe what is it, Mercer, right? Right, how's he doing this year? Mercer is at 20 points in 25 games. So like there's a guy on target as well, right? So a package like that would work. So no, I don't think we're going to get a guy like Nico Hischier. I think that's maybe just a tad too much personally. But thanks for joining me here at the end there, Reckless. I really appreciate it. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.